I suppose my question is just asking for some reflection on whether whether I could be just playing out the same role, or whether there's a legitimate reason for me being here, or if it can be both of those at the same time.
It all depends on you, really. It's in you. It also depends, but again, partially on prerequisites that are required, one way or another, right? There's nothing wrong to learn from many teachers. In fact, it's actually at some point very good. Maybe that then begins to get funneled into not many, but a few. And at some point, we find ourselves in the dilemma where we need to bring that choice or narrow that choice further down. The reason for that is simply in the nature of the work. In the very nature of the work. It has to bear fruit somewhere. But otherwise, there will be always a territory for an excuse. There will always be this opened possibility. You see? And sometimes that's an attractive idea, even if it's not fully acknowledged, more on the unconscious level. We want to have a way out in case something doesn't work. So it feels somehow safer. And of course, again, depending on the circumstantial setup of this or that container with which this or that spiritual perceptor works, it may feel as, yeah, you better think twice, right? If it is more like, well, you know, I'm just lecturing here, for instance, I'm not talking about myself, I'm just saying, you know, I'm just delivering some courses, you know, writing books. Just take what you like, leave what you don't. Come to the retreats, retreat finish, bye. It's a very, very, you know, kind of very suitable setup today. Very convenient. Convenient for both parties, in fact. It's a kind of contractual non-involvement. And many teachers prefer that, especially if they have seen quite a bit of how this works. Because it comes with quite some territory. And not everyone wants that responsibility, even when it comes to very successful teachers. I don't know one student of Eckhart Tolle. Maybe they are kept in secret as that kind of, like more like an underground lineage being formed. So we know Eckhart Tolle, you know, like he sells millions, million people know him, right? And then one day we will find out that these beings of light, they all were kept secretly somewhere. They all come out and become known, you know? And you know, of course, it's like speaking about it lightheartedly. Because he doesn't take students. It's too much work, trouble, and it wouldn't allow him to live the light he does. You see? And he's just an example because he's more known one, but we can have many, many other examples of this kind of approach, where teachers simply prefer that non-involvement. And they, of course, some of them, on the occasion, will downgrade the modality where that, what is exemplified by teacher-student, guru-shishya, right? That parampara is being, well, even at times dismissed as no longer relevant, as no longer fitting Western way of life, right? If it is done out of wholehearted understanding, that's fine. But if it's done slightly cowardly, that's not good. So, what I'm saying to you, there's no dilemma, really. You will know yourself where you belong. The pull to a certain lineage, a certain way of knowledge, is understandable. But what you're speaking about here, it's not that. Those disciples of those masters who truly understand what this is about, they clearly reinstate, I'm with this teacher, not with this tradition. It's always one-on-one relationship. It is always human to human and divine to divine. It's not because, this guy is quite versed in Kashmir Shaivism, I want to study Kashmir Shaivism. No. I love Sufi tradition, I want to have Sufist, I want to do the zikr, I want this. I don't want Hindu stuff, I don't want Sanskrit terms. I want to, tasawwuf, I want something a bit more like that. It's less known, more bespoke. It won't work. Therefore, it's the most bizarre thing. This is the most bizarre thing. Because one recognizes not what is being seen through the form. One recognizes the essence and one is attracted to the essence. Not how that essence is being dressed. So, therefore, that part is a bit peculiar, that attraction to a certain lineage, certain tradition, way of how that knowledge had streamed itself, and then finding a fitting candidate, a fitting person, figure, who fits that, seems to me not really understanding what is at play. So this, therefore, this is where perhaps there are universal teachers who disregard traditional setups, and therefore there's nothing that one can cling on to. There are those who use modalities, they use umbrella. And there are those who completely stand on their own. Whatever tradition you come from, you will drink from the source of that tradition, from that being. You are thirsty for Christ consciousness, and you will drink that from that. Someone wants to know Buddha's nature, they will come and they will find that. So, attracted to the lineage, attracted to the form, is already a form of a detour. And this is what is so paradoxical about it, and maybe even, maybe not even really truly given to, because what it is now emphasizes here is, and can be easily misunderstood, that, oh, are you speaking about human charisma? Are you speaking about how that charisma then of the individual here plays itself out that attracts this or that? Yes, it could be. In many cases that's the case, but that's not what we're speaking about here. You see? So, you brought it out into the open, and I trust this answer will present itself to you very clearly. It will communicate itself, you just need to be opened. It may communicate to you, it may be communicated to you in not the way you expect. Maybe not at that mental level when you make that decision, because you're sitting here with that paradox, right? That we mentioned the Bhagavad Gita earlier, right? The unfoldment of it begins with the despondency of Arjuna. And despondency of Arjuna comes from the place where he doesn't know what to follow, his heart or his head. In other words, what to follow, his duty as a warrior, or his sense of compassion for the beings that he recognizes standing in the opposing army on the battlefield. It's a dramatic example, but that's what it is, always. Always. And then the teaching unfolds from there. First, the despondency needs to take place. First, he sits down, puts the, I'm not going to fight. I cannot. I truly, and he starts giving reasons, one after the other. All are fantastic, amazing reasons. Sound, logical, showing really well-developed men of his time. When he finally tired and out of his breath with all the reasons, Krishna looks at him like, kind of, all right, so are you over with this? Are you ready to hear something, boy? Boom! And the teaching of Bhagavad Gita unfolds, right? It's a bit of like a slap in the face, not literally, because it's not Zen, it's Hindu. So it's much more, it's a different ethos, right? O Arjuna, unworthy it is of you to speak such words. What came over you? You, O slayer of, so and so. Rise up. So that's where you need to, you just delegate that. Delegate that where the answer may come from completely unexpected sources. Okay? But there's no answer that can be given to you what is the right thing. Yes, I can also audaciously or jokingly say that it doesn't matter where you go. Seeing you now, you're not going to go far. What I mean is, you will go far, but you're not going to go far. You know what I mean? Don't worry. There's a practicality as well. Sometimes practicality. See? So sometimes it's just life, just brings it all very clearly in front of us. And it's not uncommon at all. Whatever, as long as the teacher can guide you, job's done. You see? Can that teacher guide you? Only you know. I don't think you do. How would you know? So, therefore, another dilemma comes in. Much more practical now. You see? That's what I mean. You're not going to go far. There are not that many teachers out there who can guide this process. I said that many times. On this side of the Atlantic and on the other side of the Atlantic. That doesn't at all give me any sense of joy or superiority. It actually saddens me. But that is a fact. If this was the case of just simply receiving some teaching, yes, you can go anywhere. You go anywhere, you know, you'll come back anyway. You'll come back. Therefore, it's like, who is the teacher? You can go to some non-duality teachers right now. That's not going to do anything to you, no harm. There's no harm will be done. Of course you can go. As long as you don't go anywhere where someone begins to work with energy, pretend they know something. That's the practical aspect. You see? That's the practical bit about this. So, bring that to your field. It may come, the answer may come in a dream, in meditation. You know, that moment of clarity, that crisp, clear. And that's all.
Can I follow up on something in there? When you're speaking about lineage, I don't view lineage as like a particular set of techniques or method. It feels like something that's much more subtle than that to me.
No, we spoke about that. We spoke about that in Pacific Grove, of course.
Okay. Okay.
We spoke about that. It's not a very popular topic in the circles where people like to have a certain kind of, you know, after all, it can come with the property and stuff. So if there are no claims made on anything, right? Otherwise it's like someone comes in and says, hey, I'm the rightful inheritor. Okay? So these few centers around the world belong to me. Why? Well, because I'm on a subtle level received the inauguration to continue this work. And it just happened that you have lovely center in Canada, in California, right? Somewhere in a lovely part of Germany. So, what should we do about that? You know? But if someone comes and says, look, I don't claim anything. I don't claim, I don't have any claims. But people really, tradition always streams through this, the obvious embankment, where it's very well contained and everything is delegated, even on paper, through an act of initiation, inauguration, and so forth. No questions left whatsoever. And at the same time, there is another stream, invisible, underground, that flows not through the physicality, and yet it's still a stream. And the traditions also speak about that as well. And since we have been, the whole retreat has been around that, right? The crème de la crème of the Shaiva teaching. It is in Shaiva teaching that the lineage of the Siddhas have a unique way of transmission, where the initiation takes place on another plane altogether. But of course, totally open to the speculation immediately, because a lot of people can come who will be claiming it without any reasons or rights to do that. So of course, this is why I said it is open to, it's not at all a topic that one can easily agree on here. Therefore, some people prefer that, okay, this is something very, very clearly, you can trace it, and there is like pictures on the wall. Just like as I said, you go to the psychologist, you have certifications. You go to the therapists, you have certifications on the wall. That many hours of yoga, that many hours of Ayurvedic massage, right? Studying this and that, legitimate. And rightly so. So we spoke about it, and I'm just saying out loud that yes, tradition and lineage flows through all levels. Has to. So. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
No. Thank you.